What's up, everybody? Welcome to Testimony. This is the podcast where I get to sit down with one of our leaders and just ask them about how they came to know Christ. And I'm super excited about our leader tonight. It is the one and only Nick Dotson. All right, how you doing, Nick?
I'm alive.
You're alive, which is great. I think that's awesome. We just did a podcast where we talked about you a little bit in our This or That segment.
Yep.
Where it was the last one we did. It was myself and Andrew, and we talked about which is better, Nick the rapper, Nick the actor. And I thought, what better person to have on our Testimony podcast than you to kind of give. First off, is there anything you want to say to kind of like? Remember, this is a PG or less rated podcast, so make sure it's appropriate.
I'm holding my tongue for now.
Okay, good. What I've told Nick is that we're going to let Nick do a This or That segment. Maybe not this week, but next week, I think is what we're going to shoot for. And we're going to let Nick come back because he's already told me he's got some stuff that should be kind of embarrassing to me and to Andrew, and it's going to be great, right?
It's not that hard to find stuff.
It's not that hard to find, right? Well, Nick, I'm pumped you're here. Of all my leaders, I think I've known you the longest. We've known literally as soon as I got here. I think me and you connected as friends, and we've known each other for forever. I knew you before you were married. I knew you before you got your Jeep, which is a big turning point in your life, right? I've known you for a long time, and so I thought it'd be cool to have you on the podcast because a lot of kids. I don't know if you know this. A lot of kids love you. Like you're a great leader. I don't know why. Don't worry, I'm not gonna.
I'm mean to everyone.
You are, but I think that's what people like about it. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, you treat them mean and they go, oh, I love when Nick makes fun of me, and then they love you for it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but but it is cool that a lot of people, they love you as a leader. I know that when it comes to being a leader, you definitely invest in the kids' lives in a great way. And I always try to use you as an example when I'm talking about what good leadership looks like. So I thought it'd be sweet to have you on the podcast and just kind of share your story. You know, tell us how you became you, okay? And before we do, though, I'm going to do just like I did with Andrew. I'm just going to throw a couple questions, just kind of, if people don't know who you are, they can maybe get to know who you are just by these 3 questions that will be all-encompassing of your life. Here we go. You ready for the first one?
It's probably deep, isn't it?
No, not at all. It's me, man. It ain't that deep. All right, here it is. Question number 1. These are just quick questions. We won't spend a ton of time on them. Question number 1, what is your favorite movie?
Is that a question?
I mean, I know the answer, but I'm curious what you're going to say.
It's The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, which is the second one in the Dark Knight trilogy. Got Batman here, and I thought in honor of Nick's favorite movie. Here it is. Ready? This is a great sign. Always be yourself unless you can be Batman. Then always be Batman. All right.
Always.
I love Batman too. So, all right, cool. So Batman's your favorite, or The Dark Knight is your favorite movie. All right. Next question is: tell us what is your dream vacation? Like, if you can go on any vacation, where would you go?
Australia, the beach.
Really? Australia? Okay.
Snorkeling in the reefs.
So not the outback. You don't want to just be dropped in the middle of
the... There's got to be beach, palm trees.
Yeah, you're a beach guy. You love the sun, right?
And seafood.
Which begs the question, why in the world do you live in Ohio? Like,
it's a blessing and a curse.
That's right. Well, the Buckeyes are here, so that's nice. Last question is, if you could hang out with any living celebrity, who would you hang out with?
That's a tough question.
I told you these were deep questions, man.
Yeah.
So. Go ahead. Any living celebrity?
I mean, there's a lot of fun ones that I think would be cool to hang out with. Like Ryan Reynolds would be cool to hang out with for a bit.
Okay.
John Krasinski's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, from The Office. Yeah, he's the man.
Probably one of those two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both love The Office a lot, that show. If I could hang out with a couple of those
Steve
guys.
Carell.
Steve Carell's the man. I'd love to hang out. He just seems like a good dude, that you'd want to hang out with. So, okay, cool. All right. Well, there we go. Now you know everything about Nick Dotson.
Everything.
That's there's nothing else to learn. Actually, what's your wife's name? Tell everybody. Yeah, this is a tough
one. My wife's name's Kelly.
Yes. And Kelly, without a doubt, is the best thing about Nick Dotson. Yeah. All right. Everybody, when you and Kelly started dating, everybody was like, Kelly, are you really making the right choice
here?
So I mean, we warned her, but she really likes you. I mean, every time we go up and
despite everything,
she loves you, which is a great quality to have in a wife. You want a wife that loves you. So Kelly, great job. Well, there it is. That's everything about Nick Dotson. So what I want to do, I just want to give you a couple of moments. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to tell us how you came to know Jesus, right? We as Christians, we always try to encourage the kids in student ministry, like, be prepared with your testimony. And when I say testimony, it's just how you came to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior. And tell people, because our story, it is cool seeing how God works in different ways. You know, how you came to know Christ is probably different than how I came to know Christ, which is different than our other leaders. And I always love hearing the different paths that people go on to meet Jesus. And so I'd love to hear it. So as we start, why don't you just tell me, what was it like growing up as a kid? Tell us where you grew up, kind of what that looked like.
Right here.
Oh, that's I forgot. For those of you who don't know, Nick Dotson is, honestly, of all the people here at the church, you are in the top 10 probably of people who've been here the longest, right? I mean,
when I started here at Genoa, we had less than 100 people on a weekly basis. So it was like, I don't know, 80 some.
And that was when we were still meeting in the chapel, which is now the youth building right now.
The big days that they try and get everyone, they always try to get like 101 people to show up. Right. And that's the first time I remember.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you've been there. Then you remember when the new WAC was built.
Yep.
And then now we're building a new building. So that's kind of cool, man. You can get to see all the different phases.
Yep.
So you grew up at Genoa. And how long, not since you were born, right? You guys, how old were you when you first started coming?
I was like fourth grade, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you remember it. Yeah, you remember coming, and that's awesome. Back when Pastor Frank had black hair.
Yeah.
Not white right now, yeah. Please, I hope you're not watching this, Pastor Frank. I love your white hair, Pastor Frank. It's great. Anyways, so, that's cool, man. That's really cool. You grew up with my wife. My wife came here when she was super young as well. So, fun fact, and I wish I had brought this video. I have a video somewhere, and I won't show it, okay, because I like you too much. But I have a video of you and my wife in a kids' church musical here at the church. Yeah. And you were like some kind of beach.
I was a beach bum.
Yeah, you were like a beach
Started
bum.
Young.
Yeah, that's right. You had the shell necklace, and you're like, hey man, and you're singing the songs. It was. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is gold. Seeing Nick Dotson is like, you're probably fifth or sixth. I mean, probably like fifth grade. I mean, we were super young, so. Anyways, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. So you grew up here at the church, but when would you say your faith really became personal to you? Like you really just said, okay, it's not my parents' faith. This is my faith where I'm going to live for Christ. Like when did that happen in your life?
Well, I mean, I got saved in Sunday school class with Pastor Frank's wife.
Yeah. Deborah Carl.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And then probably halfway through my my high school time in the youth group with the pastor that was the youth pastor then, and it just was like, I think this is probably something that I need to take serious. Right. So you in high school? Is that what you said? In high school. Okay, cool. So in high school, what high school did you go to? Big Walnut? Big what?
Yes. Just right down the road. I love it. So you got saved at a young age. We're going to church, but you really made it your own when you were in high school. Yeah. And so what did that look like? Like, how did you live out your faith? Were you a little more vocal about it to students around you? Did you get to go on some mission trips?
We always we had a group of us that we'd pray before high school started in the morning. We'd meet at like the flagpole, or when it was cold, we were inside in the cafeteria before church started or school started. I don't think I've missed a summer camp in years.
Okay, so is it this year that it's during your anniversary summer camp?
It is.
So Nick would always go to summer camp while he was in the youth group. Then he graduated from high school and still helped out. And he legitimately has not missed a youth camp, a youth summer camp for years and years and years. And this year, it just happens to be during his anniversary. And I remember I said something like, oh, dude, that sucks. You're like, what are you talking about? I'm
it's almost like 20 years.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, if you include all the time when you were a kid, too. Yeah. And it was funny because I was like, man, that really stinks. I'm sorry that you can't go to camp. And you're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's your anniversary, man. And so I'm going to leave that between you and Kelly. Kelly's awesome, but I'm not. I mean, I don't. I will. You will not hurt my feelings if you don't go to camp this year. Which it may
we
be
might
canceled.
not. We might not going.
It
To
may be
camp
canceled
anyway.
anyways. So we'll see what happens. So okay, cool. So I know that in high school, and then you got saved, or you made your faith real personal, and you kind of took ownership of it and started living it out more. When did you start helping in youth ministry? Right after you got out of high school? Like, did you?
I did like kids ministry for like a year or two.
Oh yeah.
And then I hated it.
What's the problem with kids under 5th grade? I don't see what the issue is. Having tons of them.
One is okay.
Right.
And they're like,
many of them. It's
it's
tough.
like a flock.
Right. Oh, it is a flock, dude. Kids camp's where it's at though. It's fun, but man, it is tough. Like it's a lot different than youth ministry for sure.
Yeah.
But that's where your heart is. I know that you have a heart for students. You have a heart for kids that are, from 6th to 12th grade. So you're our small group leader for 12th grade, right? 12th grade boys. And so ever since you've been out of high school, I know you didn't jump right into youth ministry right away, because a lot of typically we don't let people lead a group by themselves that young. But
I was just that mature.
yeah, you were just on a different level, and we just couldn't keep you down. So. Well, that's cool, man. So you got saved, and then high school happens, you graduate, and now here you are. Do me a favor, just tell everybody listening, like, what is it about how do you live out your faith now? And this is a really softball question because I know exactly what you do in youth ministry, but just tell me what living for Jesus looks like in your life, and what you want to see accomplished through God using you. Like, does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, working.
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Do you have to answer it?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
I'll just
All right.
ignore that. Sorry.
Yeah. You're good. Continue. Take 2. Go.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah. So that's okay. So you are now serving as a student leader. You're doing all this stuff. What does living for Christ look like in your life right now? So you're on your own now. You and your wife, you've started your own family. You're married. You don't rely on like the shelter of your parents anymore. Like, I mean, you are your own man now. And so what does it look like for you living for Christ in your life? And just kind of show us some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a commitment to, making sure that you still, you wake up in the morning on a Sunday morning or a Wednesday, you're like, I'm just too tired. I don't think I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. But it's just that, but I should. That commitment to do it, even when you don't want to, or you're tired. Right. Mm-hmm. Working in a business setting, it's also not the most Christian conducive setting, but
right.
But we you just gotta put forth an effort to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and keeping up with the commitments and stuff that you make.
Right. And what does that look like for students? Because I know with the last couple of weeks with the coronavirus and the quarantine and stuff, I remember you called me one day and you were just like, hey man, I'm going to try to meet with my group outside of, as soon as the message is done on YouTube, or I'm going to call my guys and we're going to have small group time. And I thought that was awesome. I was like, all right, so, and just what does that look like with the students? I mean, you're definitely invested with them, which is awesome.
Just trying to keep up with them, and just seeing how their day's going, making sure everything's going good. Right now, they're like living the dreams, doing online school and
right.
waking up at noon, and
right.
And it's just being able to wake up and still like have a mindset of it's a little different of a day, but it's still another day to do what we're supposed to be doing, and taking our time out on Wednesdays or Sundays or whenever you post the different videos throughout the week, and just taking a few minutes just to listen but yeah.
Do you think it's harder for kids right now in the environment to live for God? I know they're at home a lot.
I mean, it could be harder. It could be easier. I guess just depending on the student and the situation. Like, I know that there's being like away from school. You're not as like in with a ton of people's influences and stuff because you're by yourself. But at the same time, you're like you can just kind of not feel like you have to do anything because you're not supposed to leave your house anyway. So why do I even have to do anything?
If I didn't have kids at my house running around, and we had to like, clean up after them and do all this stuff, I think it would be very easy for me to just waste my day away, and just kind of sit there and just feel like, man. And
if I didn't have to wake up every day at 8.
Right, for work
to
and
roll
stuff.
over
you're
and
still
get
working.
my computer. Yeah,
you're still working from home.
Right now, actually.
Do not let your boss watch this episode. So, okay, man. Well, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I knew. Like I said, I've known you for a long time, and I kind of knew your story. But it's cool to hear. I mean, you grew up in church. I mean, it's not like you were a non-believer who came to Christ later. I mean, you grew up in church, and that's cool to see. That is a good testimony. I've met people before that say, well, like, I remember when I was a kid, I heard this guy get up and give his testimony at my church, and it was like, I was into drugs, I joined a gang, and I killed a couple people. Then I went to jail for that.
I did that too, but I was in second grade.
Okay, so it was before you got saved.
It was a really rough couple of years of my life.
Right,
Yeah.
the drug dealing and stuff in the second grade. That's tough, man. Well, I'm glad God delivered you from that. But it is easy to think that
the teardrops you could remove with.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It is easy to think though that just because you don't have a very, very sinful previous life before Christ, that your testimony is not as good. But I always get I respect people who accepted Christ at a young age, and then they stick with it, and that doesn't mean they don't stray every now and then and stuff, but it's cool to hear. I was talking to my wife about doing this segment. I was like, I want you on the testimony thing, and she goes, oh, I grew up in church, my testimony might be kind of boring. And I was like, no, that's fine. I mean, it's different routes that we all take, so well, that's cool, man. So do me a favor, we're gonna finish up then. I just want you to tell me if you could kind of speak to the students that are watching this, and just if they could learn anything from your life, if they could learn anything about Jesus, like if you can encourage them with one statement. I know this is putting you on the spot, but like, what's one thing you'd want to say to the students listening as we finish off?
I mean, we're in a weird time right now with the whole virus thing, but
Very weird.
It's just take the moment and enjoy spending time with your family who might not be around forever. Right. So getting in a few extra minutes, even though our family, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, whatever, can be annoying or frustrating. Like, we don't know how long we have with them, and so just being able to slow down for a few days here and really getting to invest time in the relationships of people that that we see every single day, that we don't really worry about because you just always assume when you come home mom and dad's going to be there.
Right.
So it's just like taking advantage of it while we still can.
Sure. Yep. That's great, man. That's great. And it's a godly thing, like love your family. Like, and what's funny is it's easy right now, when you're stuck at home with people, when you're in a confined space with people, it is easy to get annoyed, to get upset and stuff like this. But
I make my wife mad. Yeah. Probably daily.
Yeah. Bro, even before the quarantine though, you're making your wife mad, right? So,
that's true.
Yeah. Virus or not, she's getting annoyed at you. Same with my wife though. But
I am the virus.
Nice. I think that's great advice though. I preached on this a couple weeks ago where we really do have we've got an unusual opportunity here where things are bad, but at the same time we do get to grow closer to our families. We get to grow closer to God, and so if I'm hearing you correct, I think you're saying just don't waste the time, right? I mean, we're stuck at home, and the good can come out of this. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, I want to thank you, dude, for coming in. I know that you watching the podcast a couple days ago and watching
it's coming.
Watching us pick on you a little bit. Like I said, Nick can take it really well. That's why I always kind of pick on him a lot. But Nick is going to guest star in a this or that segment coming up next week, and we'll let him kind of have some revenge on us, and we'll see. In fact, your wife, and I know you know this, but your wife sent me a video of you watching the video, and literally Nick the whole time is just watching it going, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. And that's all you said, just like 9 times. And so maybe I'll show that video when we do the this or that.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, man. Well, do you have anything else to say? Are you good? Or speak now or forever hold your peace.
Oh, that's not going to stop me.
Yeah, that's true, because you're speaking next week. So, all right. Well, Nick, I really appreciate you staying here. In all seriousness, you are one of the best leaders that we've got. I really appreciate all you do. So, guys, thank you for watching, and be encouraged. You know, we've got a lot of leaders that help out in this ministry that are very serious about their faith, and Nick is one of these. And the reason, again, that we're doing this testimony videos is we want to show you how like the journey that people have gone to find God and to find Jesus, and hopefully you can be encouraged by it. So, all right, well, you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night for online church. Don't miss it. In fact, if you want to call some friends and you know, watch it together and then call each other afterwards and discuss it, that would be awesome.
Keep 6 feet apart, though.
Yeah, that's right. Don't go anywhere close to each other. But that's online church tomorrow night. Don't miss it. All right, guys, like always, we miss you guys. Can't wait to see you again once all of this quarantine is over. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Peace out.